Hello traders, it's Samurai Trader here. Welcome to this training session. This session I've called the $1,000,000 trader, what it really takes. Traders, I deal with hundreds of traders around the world. I've been a day trader and involved in the funds management and trading industry for over 25 years now. So I believe, and I know I should remove the word I know I've gained a massive amount of experience over that period of time. I've trained traders in the thousands now, and I've got so much information that I want to share with you. I want to bring about change in the trading industry for both day and swing traders, which means I'm going to have to be very direct with you. Traders, if you want to truly succeed as a day or swing trader, you have to become a student of the markets. You've got to be passionate about what you do. And we need to work on a number of things, not just on the markets themselves, the setups, etc. Because when it comes to trading, I believe that your strategies only account for around 5% of trading itself. Money management is probably about 5%, and a massive 90% is about the head stuff for psychology when it comes to day trading. And someone once said to me that you need to work harder on yourself than what you do on your setups. And it's something that I've found after dealing with thousands of traders. It is so true, and not a day goes past that I don't receive an email or a call from a trader that's really struggling, but they're missing out, or we're not following through on some of the absolute fundamentals that is required to succeed as a trader. Now, before you even dare think of turning this video off, if you move from this, I can probably tell you're already not profitable, because what I've found is that successful traders have a thirst for knowledge, and they have the attitude of, if I can pick up just that one idea. And that's the attitude that you have to develop. So I may jump around in this video from one subject to another because there's so many subjects that are interconnected, so please stay with me. So I'm going to be recording a number of sessions for this series, and there may be 5 or 6. I'm really not sure at this stage how many it will take. Now please have a pen and notebook handy. Very important that you take notes. You've got to jot it down, and please watch this webinar with the mindset of, what if I can pick up just that one idea? Now in future sessions we will discuss the power of questions, and those that have heard me or that are members will hear me talk about the power of questions all the time. The very best traders, the most successful traders, ask the right questions, and it's very important. But it's a mindset, and it takes time to learn to ask the right questions. Now as always, there is a risk in trading, so I do need to put up the risk disclaimer. Please pause the video. I won't read it out word for word and go through it in detail. Now very quickly, traders, a very quick ad. If you haven't got my free ebook, I've got a free training manual and the ebook, The Truth About Day Trading. Please go to the download link below. Visit my website. Please subscribe to my channel. If you're not already a member, for $197 you receive now over 300 videos in my training program. There's a ton of stuff. All right, it is worth thousands. Free indicators, and there is absolutely no upsell. So traders, visit my site to find out more. End of ad. So let's now get into the content. Now first of all, let's start with this. Over 70% of my traders are experienced. Those that come and join the Day Traders Fast Track program, over 70% are already experienced. Now their mindset is totally different compared to a new trader. If you're an experienced trader, there's a very good chance you've already suffered some sort of form of psychological damage, particularly if you're not already profitable. If you've blown your account a number of times, you're damaged. I'm sorry, but you are. Now the good news is there's something we can do about that, and I'm going to be sharing ideas and give you some real tools on how to fix that. But you need to approach this differently to a brand new trader. Now A brand new trader is a lot more open-minded. We've got to be careful of what we call the shiny object syndrome. That is, you don't jump from one thing to another because it all looks good. But bottom line is, for both of you, for all of you out there, is this, is that the sign of an intelligent person is how open to they are to new ideas. Now, I'm not saying you never verify a new idea, but you've got to be open-minded. You've got to be open to possibilities, because, and actually a thought just come to mind. I love training new traders that are young people. Do you know why? Because they're not jaded. The old dogs, and even those around my age, I'm in my late 50s, but the older you are, the more challenging you are, particularly if you've been burnt trading in the past, to retrain, because you tend to be a lot more closed-minded. So I want you to be very careful of that. Now, for those traders that have found things tough in the past, you've got to reapproach trading with this. Creating the future means leaving the past behind. Now, we still use the past as a learning experience, and we ask the right questions based on what I now know. What will I do differently moving forward? For an example, for most of you, it means no counter trend trading until you're consistently profitable. It means going back to the simulator. Stop live trading for now until we get it right, until we retrain that brain of yours, until we work on that. So there are things that we need to do, but you've got to turn around and look at your past as a learning experience. Now, this is specifically aimed at new traders. Time to success. Now, I want to cut the crap and let's be realistic. Right, you've got to allow a minimum of 90 to 100 days, 180 days, sorry, to actually master the basic setups. Look, I'm just amazed still, and maybe it's because the investment to join my program is only $197. That after 1 week I'm receiving emails, I don't have this right yet. Traders, you've got to allow yourself time. The only place that I know of where success comes before work is in the dictionary. I can give you the world's best setups, which I do, the world's best strategies, 25 years plus experience, but I can't give you screen time. So I just want to bring this up when it comes to reprogramming or giving yourself the right programming to succeed. You've got to have the right mindset on how long it's going to take to master trading. And even in 180 days, you're not a master trader, you're on the way in mastering certain setups. But I want you to realize that it's very important. Now, the first thing I want to start off with is creating a compelling future. Traders, in a previous life, one of the businesses I've invested in was, and I was actually the largest shareholder at one stage of Southeast Asia's largest seminar promoting business. That is, we represented some of the biggest names, or the biggest names in the world even today, as far as speakers go. People like Tony Robbins and many others were we represented. Zig Ziglar, actually I've got to recorrect myself there. Zig had already, we weren't representing Zig when I come into the scene. Zig was quite old, but we had people like Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, many others. And one thing I learned from being in industry, besides the fact that it's very easy to lose a small fortune, by the way, representing speakers, is that the power of creating a compelling future. And it's just amazing that if you as an individual have a compelling future, if you've got a goal, a dream, something to go for, how really just the head start that it gives you. And I can't remember what this was, but it was back, I think, a study that was done by the Harvard University, and someone I know will send me an email and correct me, back I think it was in 1955, where this particular class, they about 3% had their goals in writing. And some many years later, they followed up the survivors from that class, and the survivors of that class, that 3%, had more in assets and value than the rest of a class. And it just makes a massive difference when we put pen to paper. Now, I'm not going to be able to create the compelling future for you as far as what you want to purchase with the wealth you can build from trading, but what I can work with you on is really what sort of income is possible, and then give you the tools, the strategies, the techniques, how to get there. So I want you to stay with me here, traders. If once again, if you're thinking about leaving here right now, if you're not consistently profitable, big mistake. Stay with me for a moment. You've got to follow through on this. I promise you it'll make a massive difference. So let's start with this. What would it mean to you? Would this be life changing if you could earn an extra 1,000 a week, 2,000 a week, 5, 20,000, whatever your goal is? Now, the millionaire trader, there is a fallacy. I know of very few traders that trade their own funds when it comes to multi-million dollar funds where it's their own cash. Many traders, myself included, are comfortable maybe trading up to 10 to 20 contracts, but once you get above that, when it's your own funds, it's a total different ball game. Now, your goal may be to eventually become a funds manager. Now you say, well, why, if you're a great trader, why would you manage others' funds as well as your own? Well, it keeps you on the ball. There's a whole lot of reasons. If you read Marty Schwartz's book, Pit Bulls, and if you study some of the other great traders, they will manage funds as well as their own for a whole host of reasons. Anyway, it's beyond the scope of this video, but the bottom line is, would an extra $5,000 a week make a difference to you? Of course it would. The big question is, how do we get there, day or swing trading? What steps do we need to take to get there? And then what tools, techniques, and strategies do we need? Now, for the sake of this recording, let's keep it basic. So how are we going to get to net an extra 200 a day per contract? Because if you're earning 200 a day per contract, 5 contracts, there's 1,000. So I think you get the idea. Trading 100 contracts by 200 a day, that's $20,000 a day you're earning. So I think you get the general drift here. So if you're a CL trader, okay, that's 5 by 5 tick trades a day. If you trade the ES, 5 4-tick trades a day. So for those that are new to CL, it's $10 a tick. ES is $12.50 a tick. The NQ is $5 a tick, and FX on a standard lot is around 10 US dollars, depending on contracts, of course. So 5 by 5, and you'll hear me at the end of this webinar. I want to get many of you chanting to yourself to learn 5 by 5. Yes, I can. 5 by 5. Yes, I can. Well, depending, of course, on which market you're going to trade and what your individual goal is. But it's very, very important that we once again break this down. So if you're trading one contract and you get 5 $50 trades a day, that's 250 less your commissions, it's about 225. Now on average you do want to be targeting, and I'll just a quick side note here, at least 300 a day to allow for your down days. You are going to have those, but overall we're talking 200 net. Now if we then go to this table here, where, and you can pause the video and go back and study this, and this gets back, traders, to having a compelling goal. You can move mountains if you've got an incredible future. Why do students go to uni for 4, 5, 6, 7 years if they want to be a doctor? Well, because they know at the end the payout, the pay to it, the success will be in that time period. So in this particular case, I've taken a case of where you have a starting capital of 5,000. Now if you don't have 5,000, okay, you might start trading Forex. If you're a futures trader, realistically you need $5,000. So based on $5,000, you earn $200 a day. At the end of a week, you now have 6,000. Now for the sake of this table, I've said, okay, you can only trade one contract until you double your money. Once you double your funds, you can start trading 2. So all of a sudden now we're earning $400 a day, okay, and so on. And you can only start trading 3 contracts when you get up to 15,000. So you've got to double your money effectively before you go into the next lot of contracts. So I'm being very conservative before you increase. Okay, in actual fact, let me just quickly say this. If you say are a trader and you've got 50, 100, 500,000, as many traders come to me, they've got substantial wealth or money behind them already, I say, well, you may as well go and invest that, because for a start you're only going to trade in sim using a simulator until you're consistently profitable in sim, and only then do you go live trading one contract. And you can only, based on my recommendations, start trading to when you double your money. You've got to, what I call, earn your stripes. You've got to, what we call, earn the right to start trading more contracts. And these are the steps that unsuccessful traders are not willing to take. The winners are, because they know that there is a price to pay. So you've got to earn the right to be successful. This is what it takes. Now, if we then go down here at week 25, you're earning $50,000 a week. Your total capital, you've now got around 300,000 in capital. This is a possibility on earning only $200 a day per contract. On CL, on oil, 5 tick trades a day. On the NQ, 4 11 tick trades a day. So of course, if you go on now, I'm not going to get into trailing your stops and of course going for the home runs, etc. That's not the purpose of this very video. But what I want to show you is what is extremely realistic. Now, so we can see you need to create a compelling future. You need to decide what sort of income you want, because then how many contracts, how much capital have I got. So this is sort of step one. The next step is to go through, okay, if trading hasn't been good for me, if I've failed up till now, we need to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, I've had a great education. It may have been very expensive because I'm not profitable yet, but I'm now going to change things. If you are brand new to trading, you're ready to go, this is where we start. You've got to start with The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas. Now, for members that are watching this, it is in the ebook download, so you'll find this, it's on the site. For those that are not members, you can Google this. The PDF to this is on Google. Okay, now in the book, it's around page 209. Well, it is not around, it is page 209. Mark Douglas, by the way, traders, is probably he passed away unfortunately some time ago now, a year or two ago. Is probably the world's best trading psychologist. There's a ton of them, and by the way, you can see some of this stuff on YouTube. There's some of his older recordings. They're great. And once again, approach it with, if I can pick just one idea. But getting back to this, he says to become an expert, choose one simple trading system that identifies a pattern, preferably one that is mechanical instead of mathematical, that you'll be working with a visual representation of market behavior. And traders, what I teach my members is geometric patterns that appear in the market each and every day. They're of a fractal nature, which means what appears on a 1 minute chart will appear on a 1 hour chart. What appears on a 144 tick chart will appear on a 2000 tick chart. That's what trading patterns, geometric patterns, do. But this is what you've got to do, and once you master this pattern, you then go on to the second one, so you can add it to your basket of tools, if you like, of strategies. But what is absolutely critical, traders, is that you start from there. You start by mastering one or two and you build your career. Now I'm about to show you a couple of absolutely, they're probably two of the world's best trading strategies. Now, first of all, I've got to say this. I want you to stop looking for reasons why, and this is a statement I got from somewhere, stop looking for reasons why it won't work and seek out the reasons why it does work. Traders, I'm about to run through a couple of strategies. I won't go through all the rules on this in this recording, but they work and they're killers. And the reason why all of my members are not making a fortune from the markets is they're not following exactly what I'm trying to cover in this video. Okay, they're constantly looking for new strategies. They're trying to learn too much at once. They're not willing to put the screen time. But the point is, with these strategies, I want to start to change your mindset from being skeptical of this won't work or that won't work. All right, what's the presupposition? It won't work. Instead of what can I learn from this? How could I make this work? So stop looking for reasons why it won't work and seek out the reasons why it does work. Now, the strategies also I'm about to show you are pretty straightforward. They're probably 97% mechanical. That is, they're rules based. And as the late great Jim Rohn says, or said, success is doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. So in other words, the strategies I'm about to quickly talk about is because I want to show you the possibilities that yes, you really can get to that $200 to $400 a day per contract, and it's not difficult to master the strategies that do it. Now, first of all, this is what I've got to say: the brain of the trader, whether you're a swing trader, a day trader, or a position trader, is we as humans, we're really wired to pursue the traders. We're hunters. We're hunters and gatherers. We want to get out there. So therefore, it's very difficult for us to stand back and wait for the trade to come to us. We must stalk the trade. We must lay in wait. And in fact, for those members watching this video, you know this is a post I have on my wall here. And it says, I'm patient, I'm disciplined, I'm focused, I'm a sniper, one shot, one kill, I'm a rules-based pattern trader. And but it's not always easy. We need to stand back and wait, and that's a persona. And we're going to talk about this is part of an NLP technique that I teach. We're going to talk about this in probably the next video. Now, maybe you can't relate to a sniper. You might relate to being a pilot. Now, you know that a pilot will go through a checklist. Now, when it comes to trading, you need to have that checklist. Does the checklist, does it sign off, or can you sign off on the trade? Does it meet the conditions, such as a fanning of the EMAs on both your entry, your anchor chart, etc.? But what we're going to be working on is creating what suits you as the type of trader that you that you need to become. Now, just before we start to go through a couple of back-tested results on these, trading does not have to be rocket science. And as Richard Branson once said, any fool can make something look complicated. Okay, so trading is really easy. Buy the dips, sell the rallies. The trend is my friend. So I'm about to show you a couple of trend following strategies. Okay, now one of the questions may be going through your mind, well, look, if it's so easy, why doesn't everybody doing it? Good question, and I'll tell you why. Because traders, the easy things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. Let me say that again. Things that are easy to do are also easy not to do, and that's what happens when it comes to trading. Trading can get very boring. It truly can. So very quickly, now this is going back to 2016, a strategy there. This is from a member who went through and did his own testing. Well, Ray, I just completed doing the back testing of a 34B for the month of March. Pretty impressive, but you already knew that. Okay, so here in this particular case, out of 262 trades, 82% were profitable with a profit factor of 3.63. He applied it then on the ES with different types of profit targets, etc. 79% profitable over what's that, 83 trades, over 91 on another market was 87, 85% here. This was now this is on for black gold on trading oil. Now, I'll never forget this comment. He had trading if only we could trade like monkeys, meaning that if we could just follow the trading rules and make sure we stuck with those rules, trade like a monkey, monkey see, monkey do. Here is 84% profitable over 288 trades. So let's come back to today, and whoops, this is a little out of sync here. I apologize for that. I hadn't set this, and actually just looking at this here, I'll have to apologize in advance if I'm filming outside the slide. I've just noticed this here, but this was from one of our long-term members on the 11th of the 1st 2018. High rate continued to trade for 34B to the downside. He'd actually sent me a couple of charts on this day. Now done 41 ticks for the day using two contracts, no runners, and he'll quite often go for runners. Either way, I want to share with you, as you taught me this trade, it's changed my performance about 1,000%. I miss you in the room. Thanks, Dave. On this particular day here, he netted 410, 92% profitable, had 13 trades. Traders, the strategy, the 34B, has worked for many years, and because of the way it's structured, will work for many years in the future. And one of the I've actually had this asked a number of times. Well, Ray, if you teach a lot of traders this particular strategy, won't it change things? Well, it reminds me of Richard Dennis. Richard Dennis, you may remember, made $250 million trading, and he was actually the original turtle, one of the original turtles. And he said once that, look, you could virtually publish the exact rules in the newspaper and no one would probably follow them anyway, and because they keep breaking the rules, and that's what happens. And this is just so true. So you're still going to have people who want to change things. And excuse me, and by the way, one thing I wanted to say before earlier traders was this, that when you approach, and I say this to new members, if you're an experienced trader, you don't throw out the window what you already know. You take what I teach and you say, how can I use this to improve what I'm already doing? Now, can you hear the presupposition here? And we're going to cover presuppositions a lot more in the next video. How can I use this to improve what I'm already doing? Now, very important that we recognize the experience that you have. Now, this is the second strategy I just wanted to quickly show you, and I now call this the rule of one. Now, for current members, and very quickly, because this is something with the new Renko charts I've just started to use. Now, current members, if you go to the folder Renko charts, you'll see a whole host of videos I've put in there on Renko, including a video I shot only yesterday on the rule of one. So you'll find them in the tab, both new recordings, you'll find them in there, and you'll also find them in the Renko charts folder, okay, along with all the other videos on Renko. Very, and just one more thing, and I'm going to come back to this in a moment, but I've also created here this self NLP PDF, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. You'll find that in both the neurolinguistics folder, in the NLP folder, along with the ebooks, and you'll also find it in the new recordings and new uploads folder. So very important that you go and look for those there. So the rule of one, the black dots you can see here represents, and by the way, here we're looking at the NQ, so NQ 1 point bricks on these Renkos. So we had an entry, potential entry, and by the way, you had divergence, so that first entry was discounted. Potential entry, you had an entry there which was an 89B, entry. There's other considerations, potential entries on these. Now remember traders, as always, the further you move away from your major EMAs, the more likely you are to have a retracement. Now this is just one chart I want to show you. This is from this morning. This is on gold, by the way. Some trades I took, 3 quick scalps, shorted 5. Now I was after 5, sorry, I was after on here 6 ticks. I was after 6 ticks. Now here, by the way, for members looking at this, you'll see I got in on a limit order and out on a limit, and there I got out at +1, and the reason being it ticked down +5, and one of my rules are to go to break even +1, so I went to break even, and here I was out there at +6 on those contracts there. But the point I wanted to bring up here was rule of one, rule of one, rule of one, rule of one. Market rolls over, rule of one, rule of one. I would have been stopped on that one if I had have taken that one, by the way. Rule of one, rule of one, rule of one, rule of one. Trend following strategies. Now there are a number of rules to go with those traders, but just getting back to the point there of $200 per contract, is it achievable? Yes, it is, with the right strategies. And in many cases, and I've got to say there, just with those, the NQ and gold there, those were great looking charts. There are times there where you've got to sit on your hands because you're in chop, you're in a sideways market. Now, as we're coming towards the end of this recording, this gets back to the head stuff and thinking success. Is that you've probably heard this before. When you believe it, that's when you'll see it. When you start to believe that you can do it, you know, when you correct your mindset, everything will fall in place. You know, traders, your thoughts are like workers. You know, thoughts are real things. What are you thinking? What are you focused on right now? What are you thinking about right now? What's your number one priority right now? What we become, what we think about and focus on. And many of you that are members have heard me talk about Earl Nightingale. Back in 1959, he produced the very first motivational record. Now, for any of the oldies that are listening to this recording, you'll remember Earl Nightingale. He was famous, and those perhaps that are in management and leadership and in sales knew that Earl Nightingale produced some great CDs, or back then they were tapes, some records. But going back to the very first recording he put out, it was called The Strangest Secret. And he used to, on his radio show, interview famous people, successful people. And he ended up creating the world's first motivational record back then, based upon the interviews that he conducted. And he called it the strangest secret, because the strangest secret is, after interviewing all of these people, you become what you think about. So the strangest secret was, you become what you think about. What are you contemplating right now? What are you focused on right now? And what are your working on right now? For many of you, and I already know some of you are saying this is bullshit, okay, this is crap, you know what, you're probably not profitable. I'm sorry if I offend. No, I'm not sorry if I offend you. My job is to get change in people, but this is the things that you need to be doing. You need to be aware. So I'm getting a bit wound up here. So as we come to this close off, in the next session we're going to cover some NLP techniques and strategies on how to create permanent change, and a ton of other tips and ideas. I want you to be successful. You can watch these free. You don't have to invest in my program, but what you do have to start to make a difference in your own life, and you can do that through trading. It's the only business, if I can call it that, opportunity in the world today where for literally a few $100s you can get underway, build your capital and become wealthy. You know, if you go and study books, like go on, you can actually get the ebook on Google if you can't afford to buy it, on gee whiz, just a mind blank here right now, but on trading. And Marty Swartz, go and Google Marty Swartz and some of the other great traders. Sorry, I've got that many books going through my mind right now. And what you'll discover is a lot of these guys, and these were professional traders, struggled for years, and it wasn't until they got their head right that it made a massive difference. And it's almost shocking when you read and listen to some of these stories about these traders, what made the shift. So here's a couple of things we're going to finish on. First of all, 5x5, yes I can. Traders, what I want you to start to do is, what is your goal? Is it to be scalping 5 trades a day? The market, if you're an experienced, maybe it's just to go for 2 runners a day, so 2 trades a day, 2x2, 2x10. If it's 10 ticks you're after, 2x10, yes I can. 5x5, whatever it may be, you've got to start to get your psyche right. Now, I'm not talking about making reckless trades here, but it's entering trades when they're fully qualified, but making sure, and for most traders, is suffering from this thing called fear. Now, that's the biggest challenge, and we need to get our heads right. So work on your affirmations, and because on the next video we're going to be going through some of the NLP affirmations. Now for those that are members that want to jump straight into these, this PDF is in those 2 folders on my Google Drive, so you can go and get these and we will go through it, and you can customize this. Now it's also there as a Word document. Okay, so you can take this as a Word document and tailor it to suit your trading profile. And what you must do, traders, is on a daily basis go through this, start to condition yourself, because this is what the best do. The other thing I want you to do is to really start to work on that compelling future, traders. Is what does earning $200 a day mean to you, $1,000 a day, and how are we going to get you there? Because once again, you'll see it when you believe it. When you believe you can do that, and we develop that belief through back testing, then through sim trading, then through live trading, we develop and we strengthen these beliefs. And we do that through techniques. How do we create, by the way, instant change? We can do it using the NLP swish technique. There's so many things that you can do to create instant change. But the bad news is on all of this, it takes work. You're going to have to apply yourself to learning this, traders. But the great news is you can do it. You've got before you one of the greatest opportunities that are possibly in the world today when it comes to creating wealth. Okay, you want to trade Bitcoin without going out there and spending on trying to mine your own coin. Okay, you can now do it through the CME offer contracts. You can trade it online. You know, you've just got an incredible future. So traders, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do visit my website, get my ebooks. Better still, join us. You'll discover how huge my program is. But bottom line is, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get the next series of videos as I go through this. Now if I covered some tidbits and you hadn't written down, but you thought, yeah, we should, please go back and replay it. Right, very important, as I said, traders, you become a student of the markets. Thank you, traders. So I won't say see you on the next video, you'll hear me on the next recording. Thank you.